Fox had a huge hit with The OC, and NBC had a kind of hit with Friday Night Lights, but those two shows are regarded as two of the best high school shows of all time. CW apparently took the memo because their new pilot, All American, borrows from a lot of the same elements of those two TV shows. How good is it, and what do we think? We'll tell you right now.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Do you slide on all your nights?
We're Keven here.
Little
See you.
Frank.
I never know what he's gonna play until he plays. So
A lot of music in this pilot.
yeah, a lot of music. For
A
sure.
lot of pretty good music in this pilot.
Yeah.
Better than the mayor.
Yeah. Well, if that's the bar, you're damn right about that.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the voice of D'Angelo Platt, and I am Jeff Graham, and you are here for TV Pilot Reviews, where every week we review a brand new pilot for you. As I mentioned at the top, we're reviewing CW's new pilot, All American, which actually premiered last week, but airs on Wednesdays, so we're here just in time if you want to tune into tonight's episode. Just to clearly let you guys know, this is a TV pilot review show. This is not an after show, so we will only be reviewing the pilot for All American today. On CW, and we have a lot of thoughts. I've said it already, but my name is Jeff Graham. D'Angelo is
D'Angelo
here.
Platt.
Yes, D'Angelo, we're
Or
glad
D'Angelo
you're here.
Friday, depending on the day.
On Fridays, you're D'Angelo Friday.
Actually, every other day.
Every other day. Nice. Okay, so this pilot is actually based on the life of NFL player Spencer Paysinger. He was a Crenshaw high school student who was recruited essentially to play football for Beverly Hills High School, which is sort of the OC narrative I was mentioning where, a fish out of water story about an underprivileged kid going to a very, very fancy high school. That's the basic thrust of this show. Let's watch the trailer.
Let's watch it.
Spencer James, Billy Baker, varsity coach, Beverly High.
Beverly Hills, huh?
Yes, sir. I've had my eye on you. You got strong hands. You match up well against single coverage. I need you to come play for me.
Welcome to Beverly Hills.
You're here on an academic permit.
Hey, aren't you some, crazy good football players?
All right, fellas, show me something.
Ooh, that place just isn't who I am. It ain't me.
You decide who you want to be.
We need to get rid of him. Go back to Crenshaw. I'll play with a bunch of guys who don't want me.
You can make something of your life beyond just football.
Football is my dream. I want a life better than the one I've been living. I gotta fight for every damn step I take.
I'm asking you to play for something bigger now.
Because when you do, you'll be unstoppable.
Hey, now. That's a great track. I like that track.
Yeah.
Quality trailer.
Yeah.
Not a horrible trailer.
I think it says exactly what the show is. It's funny, some of the small issues I have with the trailer are some of the same small issues I have with the show.
Yes.
Overall, though, I really liked this show. I thought it was a pretty solid pilot. I think there was a couple moments when I felt like I was watching something that wasn't totally original. As I mentioned, we have seen this story sort of told before, but I can tell that this show is at least trying to approach it with new angles. At the same time, I think it was solid performances. It was solid writing. I like how the show is just kind of straightforward and earnestly telling its story.
Yeah.
And I thought the last 5 minutes were very good.
Yes, the word solid is good. There's a lot of components about the show that fits into the shows that D'Angelo like, talking about race relations. I can relate to the format or the theme of the show because I felt like a fish out of water going to Pepperdine, coming from DC.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
So that's a component there that I like. So the concept is really dope, but it's on CW. And it has a very CW feel to it, which I don't mean as a compliment. I'm not a big CW fan,
right,
stylistically, but a lot of people do like it. So that's why for me, and I'll throw my pass play out there already. I'm probably already a personal pass, even though later on in the show, I agree with you, it got a lot better. Some things that they didn't do well in the introductory standpoint, from a drama standpoint, I think they got the stakes going pretty well later in the show. But I would approve it for people who do like CW shows, and a lot of people love CW shows. So
have you seen Black Lightning?
Yeah, I think we reviewed it. Yeah, which you guys should check out.
It's interesting. Thematically, there are obviously some similarities. It's dealing with high school kids. It's interested in both the black and the white experience in this country. But I will say, I think Black Lightning is doing this much better.
Black Lightning is probably, even though I didn't end up revisiting it, is the best show I've seen on CW for my personal taste. So.
Yeah, the one thing I thought the show was kind of lacking, and it's partly a pilot, it's partly a pilot issue sometimes. Is this something we just see in pilots? But I felt like there wasn't a ton of pizzazz. Like, it was kind of a straightforward story.
Yeah.
I actually really like this lead performance, but other than that, none of the performances necessarily blew me away. Whereas, I don't know if have you seen the OC before?
Yeah, clips of it, a couple.
So that's a show where the characters just kind of popped more in the first pilot, or the first episode. Like, I just think there was a little bit more style.
Yeah.
And when you think about like this script, I'm not sure there was anything terribly interesting, rather than just a pretty straightforward 42 minutes about this kid.
Even like, I would agree, because I hear about the OC a lot, so I think it must be the pinnacle of like these type of formats.
Yeah.
Even like he scored a touchdown and there's like a gun shooting, right? Like,
right.
It felt so teenage drama-y and not gritty.
Yeah.
Which maybe they're not going for gritty.
Right.
But for this show, this concept, I think gritty would pull D'Angelo in more.
Yeah, if it was on Stars or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. That would make it possibly more compelling, because Friday Night Lights was a little more like this, from what I saw. Mm-hmm. And what was the other example show we had?
I used the OC.
Yeah, in the OC. So, and I love Friday Night Lights, the movie, a lot. I think maybe what would have made this unique, and this isn't for, how do I say this? This is just, again, how D'Angelo would have preferred this, they portrayed this. But for a CW concept show with this theme, I think they did a good job. Yeah.
Here's what I will say. We talk about this a lot. This show could have been much worse.
Yeah.
I will say that. Like, and part of that owes to this performance, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. In terms of our overall, my pass or play, I'm also probably going to pass just with all the TV there is. But if you like solid teen fare, I would check this show out. Yeah. In terms of development, I'll go through it quickly. This show is actually based on the life of an NFL player named Spencer Paysinger, who has a similar story. The character's name is Spencer in the show. It's starring Daniel Ezra, Spencer James, and Taye Diggs as his coach / I'm not going to say it yet. Yeah. Spoiler alerts.
Do you know? Because I don't even know.
We don't know, but there was a little wrench thrown into the pilot at some point. Yeah. And this show is also executive produced by Greg Berlanti, is what I wanted to say, who is kind of like the Shonda Rhimes of CW. He's on everything they're doing. And April Blair, who created the show, who's done some other teen stuff. So solid team, and I want to say very solid performances. We usually start by talking about these performances.
Yeah. I think so the main guy did a great job.
Yeah.
I had to adjust my eyes because I don't believe he's a high school student.
Oh, for sure.
He looks older.
None of these kids look like they're in high school.
Oh, I think everyone else I can give a pass for.
Really?
Honestly. Because of how much he stood out.
Yeah.
And he just looked older, and that's actually normal. Like they usually look their age.
Yeah.
But he looked like a grown man. So, but after I got past that, he played his performance pretty well. I mean, he had to. And that's what made the show like serviceable.
I want to really quickly we actually interviewed both Daniel Ezra and Taye Diggs, who play the two main characters.
Candace.
And Candace Cruz did it for BHL, and I want you guys to check it out.
Guys, love the show.
Thank you
love
so
the
much.
Pilot.
Thank you.
There's so much depth. I felt like I watched a full feature film in 45 minutes.
Oh, for real?
I mean, incredible.
I mean, I know the sort of feel. They want it to feel very cinematic. They want the whole series to feel very cinematic. So that's good that you said that. Yeah.
I feel like the show is challenging a lot of conversations. You've got racial lines, you've got economic lines, you've got a lot of different conversations. What are you hoping that the American public is going to get from this show?
Just that, all I'm looking for is to kind of set the stage and do it in a way where we don't come off as preachy or overbearing, and just to let, I hate when people say this, but let it wash over them, and then see what happens. Very rarely for me in this industry are you blessed to be on a show that does all that this show does. It makes me proud to go to work every day. Yeah. And then also having fun, just playing football.
Yeah.
So it's a dream come true.
Yeah, I like to operate from the assumption that none of us really know anything for certain, and what my favorite thing about this show is that we're not really giving answers, but we're asking a lot of questions, or we're at the very least confronting a lot of questions.
So
important questions that
it's a great interview. I'm going to cut it off there, but if you guys want to check that out on our sister network BHL.
Well, he has an accent which just blew my mind.
I know, that was part of the reason I pulled it up, was because most people don't realize Daniel Ezra is actually from the UK.
Wow. Reminds me of Damson Idris, who's on Snowfall. He has a really thick accent, but he plays a guy from South Central LA. So that's kind of funny.
He did a great job with the accent.
Yeah, they're well. I mean, I don't know his background, but generally speaking, if they're coming from England, I think of Chadwick Boseman, they have like a lot of theater like background. I don't know about him, but so
more classical training. I know we do this all the time, but in some ways you can kind of compare this show to The Mayor on paper because that was a network show
for sure
that wanted to talk about like an underprivileged black kid doing something. And I like Brendan Michael Hall, who plays the lead character in The Mayor. I think he's a charismatic actor. He's a really nice guy. But I didn't really believe him to be an underprivileged kid. Like, everything about that show just felt so, I don't know, like, network.
It was bad. I don't know what else to say. And I don't even critique the actors or the actresses because we saw him on God Friended Me.
Right.
And, you know, I think it's same stuff. We saw that he was charismatic and good actor. I think the vision and the writing of that show was just very irresponsible.
Right.
And this show could have gone in that direction because, you know, I don't know it's just, it could have gone in a bad direction. And I was a little fearful in the beginning that might happen. But I think they, as much as they could, the importance is, I think, of avoiding being the mayor is character depth and properly representing those voices. And I think they are in the right direction of doing that. They got a lot. Yeah, I think actually by the end of the show, I feel like they did it well. I didn't feel like offended or feel like that they were like typecasting these people in any type of way. Misrepresenting, yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, I just, even like the production around The Mayor, like for the most part, I thought the music in this pilot was pretty good.
Yeah.
And didn't necessarily feel like a white network executive being like, this sounds like a black song, put it in. Whereas like in The Mayor, all of the rap in it was like, dun, 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 dun. It was like
the fact that he was rapping too was just a problem. And God, don't get me started, man. Come on.
I love how this is an example of network I know you'd prefer the grittier, more cable version of this, but for a network show, I think they're not necessarily shying away from showing like what a more inner city experience would look like, especially when transplanted in a more like upper middle class experience.
And they did a couple of good things that I think was smart. He was a smart student because he's already kind of like a football player, which is playing into some type of stereotype. But he's not someone that is dumb, which in The Mayor, that wasn't necessarily established. You know what I mean? Like there were things here, little things they did with him that made you be like, okay, this is believable because he's not just fitting what we believe a person like this should look like or act like.
Yeah, he felt like someone we recognized while still defying some of the stereotypes that a lot of shows would like lean into.
Exactly.
And again, I thought Daniel Ezra was just really good. I do want to like applaud his performance because especially knowing he's like this British dude, did a really good job. I think Taye Diggs is doing a nice job. I don't know if there's a ton yet that he's doing with the character. In general, a lot of these other characters, I don't feel like we're given a lot to do.
Yeah, I mean, I love Taye Diggs as an actor. Seen him in a lot of stuff. Grew up watching him, so I know that he's a talented actor.
Right.
They have chemistry. I think their chemistry is important. Yeah, I'm trying to think of anyone else who did anything. Honestly, I thought it was funny. It's personal, but I thought the friend. The girl that they already showed kind of likes him, but he's gonna like make just a friend.
Oh yeah.
And then the girl that he's like actually interested in, I was like looking at it, I was like, wait, what? Like the friend is like in my opinion, far more attractive.
I
than
thought so too.
Yes, I'm like,
she's like a lot less basic.
But I don't know if they did that on purpose, because probably we're not gonna end up liking the girl he's into at some point.
The bottom line is everyone in this show is ridiculous attractive.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like
for sure. Obviously, me and you should be on it, Jeff. We're right on it.
If you're listening to the podcast, you might want to tune into our YouTube right now.
Oh my god.
But like, I mean, like, I know you were saying that just the lead actor looks older, but like it's these shows with like these football dudes, and I know they're athletes, but they're all just like ripped up with 8-packs and like. It just makes me laugh.
It's our image of what we would like athletes to look like.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of athletes do look like that. But
yeah. What's funny though, sometimes in football, they don't necessarily. Like, I feel like football, if you look at like the NFL, for example, obviously all these amazing athletes, but they're not usually all ripped up. You know, they're usually like bulkier dudes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. To me, there's nothing hugely new to say about this show because I don't feel like the show is necessarily doing anything new.
Yeah, I mean the themes are kind of his son or stepson maybe. His stepson's jealous. Okay, we got that.
Right.
The girl's into him. 2 girls are into him. Who is he going to decide upon?
Exactly. The white kids are like, who's this black guy?
Yeah, they're intimidated by him. And his mom is struggling financially. Yeah, they checked all the boxes.
They sure did. He's got a friend from the inner city who's like, but what about me?
Yes. Yeah. And so that is why the show is solid and not exceptional because they're not pushing any boundaries that we haven't seen before.
Right.
But maybe for the CW audience, this is a big deal.
I will say, though, I think Black Lightning, there was a couple times when I was watching it thinking, like, wow, this actually kind of feels like radical TV. Like, they, like, immediately mentioned Black Lives Matter in a way that didn't feel forced. And I was like, see, CW can do it in a way that's... I just think Black Lightning's a really good show.
Yeah.
We're going to get into a very big spoiler in this pilot, so if you're listening...
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Thanks, Bree.
If I didn't already do that.
I don't think you did. We've kind of danced around it, but I will say, great pilot moment. The last thing we hear and see is that the coach, Billy Baker, goes to Spencer's mom and says, we have to tell him the truth.
Yeah.
That was a good twist.
No, that was great. That was the first moment where I was like, oh, maybe I will watch the next episode.
I was like, this pilot did its job because I want to watch the next one.
It got better. It just got better with time. Like, the first stuff was a little cringy. I mean, because, again, I keep saying this, but, like, it's an adjustment to my eyes when I watch CW content. Right. So it was just, like, cringy for me, even though I feel like it's standard CW stuff.
Right.
So it's not even bad. But the more you got into it, now they've established the characters and all that type of stuff. Once the drama started happening, I think that's what CW does do well. They build stakes. And so by the end of it, we got the best stakes of it all. It's like, what? Like, what are they hiding? Like, you know what I mean? So they did that well.
So the thing that I was thinking about, I assumed that maybe he was Spencer's dad, right?
I mean, that's where my head is as well.
What that would mean is that the other girl who's crushing on him...
I know, and I thought about that too.
So, I don't know.
Stepsister? Yeah, and there's got to be something else.
Well, even if it's just stepsister, if he's her father, they're half siblings.
I know, which would be gross.
So not even step.
But I hope they thought about this and there's something else we haven't thought of yet.
What if after the season they're like, oh my God, we didn't think about this. We have them making out for the next 8 episodes.
We got to change it.
Change it.
No, maybe he knows his father. Yeah, and that's why he can't be his father because they lose that whole plot line there. And it seems to be important. Too many ISO cameras on her, like looking away.
Unless she's not his daughter.
Okay, yeah, that could be it.
Maybe she's remarried too.
Possibly, but both of his kids look mixed. They put them in that like color, like where it looks like they're probably both his kids because they look half black, half white.
Has a black ex-husband.
Yeah,
which could be.
We don't know. They have something there for sure. That is
maybe she has a type.
That's maybe the only component of the show that made me want to watch. Like, honestly, that's the only thing that made me like, oh, I want to know the answer to this.
For sure. Yeah, I definitely agree. So props to you, writers.
For that one part.
I was probably going to be a pass. And then that moment made me think, maybe I'll watch another one. Yeah, I feel like I've said everything I want to say about this show. Yeah. It's solid.
Yeah.
It sounds like we agree.
B minus C plus.
B minus C plus, yeah. In fact, speaking of, I would give this show, a 3.4.
I'm going 3. Definitely going 3.
Cool. In terms of other shows we've mentioned already, but the OC I think is a show you might like if this is a show you might like if you've seen the OC. Definitely Friday Night Lights, but I think that's a better show. But
Black Lightning too, because of maybe some of the subjects that'll come up.
Yeah, and the high school experience. Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. Well, I would be really curious to see what you guys thought of this pilot. Right now, we're not running an after show, but we are doing our best to try to get an after show up and running. I know there's a second episode tonight, so if you guys really, really love this show, and if we get a lot of views on this particular review, we're much more likely to greenlight that. Yeah. So if you love this show and you're behind it, let us know. Comment down below. Tweet this link out. Tweet at us. Get more people to watch this particular episode, and the producers will definitely think about it.
For sure.
Until then, guys, my name is Jeff Graham. If you want to find me online, you can do that on Twitter at Jeffrey C. Graham.
And I'm D'Angelo. You guys can find me on Twitter at D'Angelo TV and on Instagram at D'Angelo. Make sure you check the spelling. It's DEANJILO.
And we will be back next week, guys, with another pilot. Give you our thoughts.
Deuces.
Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.